even though I didn't realize he had half the school there supporting him is what it felt
Yeah,
like.
seriously.
I mean, now the co-parenting with her and her son's father is fantastic.
Yep.
I mean, they sat there, family last night watching her son. But the two little girls that were playing in front of us, just jumping around, trying to high five everybody. One of them choked me 3 times, grabbing my hoodie when she was coming behind me. I was like, holy smokes. But I looked at Shonda and I said, I want to say that I wish that I was a kid again, but I didn't have that kind of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have that kind of luxury to enjoy that kind of enjoyment.
Yeah, you said you wish you were a kid again and able to enjoy it in that way.
In that way.
Yeah.
Because there would be no way if we were watching anything, you better be sitting there and don't be moving.
Yeah.
And definitely don't be touching people. Sit down, don't sneeze, don't breathe. You be holding your bra turned blue.
Yep.
People be thinking you're cold. It's just because you're not breathing. I mean, that was how my childhood was. So it's very interesting how, it's very different. And I'm so happy to see that. Like there's nothing like the laughter of a child and, like seeing freedom, and this is what you're supposed to be doing with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be that age forever. They're going to eventually grow up and go on with their life.
Mm-hmm.
And I promise you, your children are not going to remember all the money that you spent and all the things. Mm-hmm. They're going to remember that you showed up.
Yeah.
They're going to remember that you love them. They're going to remember being free. I mean, being 45 years old and looking back at how different my childhood was compared to how I see some of these, or like my own grandchildren.
Yeah.
The way that my granddaughter, Tinkerbell, will walk through a store going, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. I'm like, girl, first of all, no. But secondly, how cool is it that she feels that comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
Because walking through a store for us would have been zip it.
Yeah.
Like don't touch anything. You're here because we couldn't find a sitter for 8 people.
Yeah.
So just keep it walking. That's crazy. What were those first days or weeks like after you walked away?
They were freeing, yet I still felt like I was kind of like suffocating.
Yeah.
Because there was still a lot of the blame going on. When I left him, it was all on me, like, oh, well, now because of you, our daughter's not going to have her dad in her life, and we're not going to be a family anymore because of you, and you gave up on me, you gave up on us, and this whole thing. And it took a lot for me to finally get to a point mentally where it's it has nothing to do with me or what I did. And the biggest thing was I now have 2 children that I always said I'm going to make sure my kids don't ever have a childhood that they need to heal from.
Yeah.
That was my biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Carter's done pretty well considering even the first parts of his life weren't great. Mm-hmm. Me and his dad were so young and we didn't know anything about being parents. We were more we were fighting all the time. Carter didn't start talking till he was 4 or 5, but he had the worst anger issues.
Yeah.
That kid would bite me, rip my hair out, claw my face up. So it was hard for him and a little bit hard for Cadence too, but it was when I would just sit there and I would watch them play, it was just peace. Mm-hmm. We didn't have to worry about somebody yelling or somebody breaking something.
Yeah.
So it was hard for the first couple of weeks, but as the days went on and the nights went on, and I learned to just ignore the text messages, ignore the phone calls, and quit feeling like I owe this person any kind of extra explanation, because they understand and they know.
Yeah.
They know why this happened. I don't have to explain it. They're basically trying to mentally wear me down.
Yeah.
And get me, because I was always like that. I'd always get to a point fine, whatever. I guess I'll stay, because it's oh, you never cared about me then if you're gonna leave. Mm-hmm. It's no, obviously I didn't care about myself, and that's why I didn't leave.
Yeah.
And I've always been put in the place to feel like the fixer. Oh, I'm with this person, and it's always oh, they're like this because of whatever childhood they went through, and then I feel bad. It's I can help them. It's it's not your job to help somebody else, especially when you have 2 kids that you have to raise. You need to worry about them before anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just with anything, if somebody wants to fix or stop something, they're going to do it.
Exactly.
You can't want it for them. Mm-hmm. With anything, with addiction, with an abusive trait. Mm-hmm. you have got to want to break the cycle.
Yeah.
You know, which is why I brag about it all the time, that 8 out of 9, I wish our brother could, and hopefully he eventually will, but 8 out of 9 of us,
That's crazy.
not hitting children, not hitting spouses, not being in trouble, working like good quality productive people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just the statistic there is like crazy to me.
It's crazy that a lot of us got into a role where whatever we're doing in our job, we're helping other people.
Helping other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a podcast host.
Yep.
And do photography and have been on social media doing all kinds of different things. We have one sister that's an AODA counselor.
Yep.
We have got one sister that did work in the dental field, but now she's a stay-at-home mom. We have one brother that works in a factory. He's a cheese pusher. We're from Wisconsin, so he used to push drugs. Now he pushes cheese.
There you go.
So we're good with it. And he's been there for a year. Actually, it'll be the 8th of next month.
That's so awesome.
Will be a year. He has been clean for 2. You guys are going to see his interview coming up soon too. He's very excited to talk about his recovery through addiction. He was an addict for 2 decades.
That's so crazy.
2 decades, and now like I couldn't be more proud.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my gosh, he's such a stand-up guy. And then we have 2 sisters that work at the same dermatology office, one that works at the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and our youngest sister she does things on social media. She's an influencer on social media. So I mean, everybody is out here doing incredible things.
Yeah.
And I think that that's awesome.
It is.
Like I say it to our dad all the time, you know, I'm like, you and mom should both be tooting some pretty dang loud horns. Because considering the fact what a lot of us grew up around seeing, the fact that we are this kind of productive, good people,
Mm-hmm.
just goes to show you can break anything. You can literally. Like nobody would have said, well, I'm so surprised that their kids grew up in and out of jail, you know, kids with every single person, and they're not, they would have been like, yeah, well, do you know what they saw? They didn't know better.
Mm-hmm.
No. 8 out of 9 of us have been like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
No, we don't want that.
Yeah.
We want to be quality, good people.
Mm-hmm.
So the cycles can be broken,
Yeah.
and you don't have to make excuses. You know, like we could make excuses for why our dad did what he did, but there's an understanding element to it,
Mm-hmm.
but it definitely is not a like free pass. Well, that makes sense. No, it's not going to make sense. I wish you would have been strong enough to stop the curse.
Yeah.
What have been some of the most powerful tools, practices, or people that helped you begin healing?
Well, it's always you.
Me.
Yes. For everything. All the time. Always calling you. Because you always have all the advice, because the sad part is that, like, you always have been sister mom.
Yeah.
To all of us. Like, you took on raising Angus at a young age.
14.
Yeah, so it's like, but even for everybody else in the family, like you said, for like, all of us have lived with you at one point or another.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we call you and we know, like, you are going to come running no matter what it is. What was that story you told me when Dad called you once? You're like, I had hair dye in my hair still.
Oh,
and I went driving over to his apartment.
I thought my hair was going to end up being purple. And I had a bag, because this is like back in the day, I had a bag wrapped on my head, and my brother was doing drugs at my dad's apartment, and my dad could not get him and his friends to leave. I was like, gosh, that's so bizarre. Like, you used to fight like 6'5" men, and now you can't get your son out the door. Like, grab him by his ear and pull him out. Because that's what I did. I mean, can you imagine the surprise on my little brother's face? This was before I took custody of him. But I go over there, and him and all of his friends are over there, and I come walking in, bag wrapped on my head. Get out right now. And they're like, oh my God, they called the enforcement. It's Darcie. Well, don't be doing that. I've done a lot of things to protect Angus. I've kicked doors open. I've been in crack houses. Like, listen, I knew what it was like to feel alone as a child. And I knew what it was like to, you know, I actually said this to my dad. I had a chapter in a book published last month called Empower Her. If you haven't checked it out, it's on Amazon. Go and grab it. But my chapter in there, and I told my dad, I said, I always felt safe that nobody in our whole entire town or beyond that knew who our dad was would ever come over and mess with us. We didn't have to worry about anybody breaking in. We didn't have to worry about a home invasion, about anything, because our dad was like built like a machine, and the anger, aggression that he would have, people feared him. But so did his whole family. So the person I feared the most in my life for my whole childhood was our dad. So the one person who's supposed to keep you safe kept me safe from everybody but himself.
Yeah.
So I knew what that was like, and then my mom was so accustomed to just being the machine of whatever my dad said was going to happen, had to happen. That's what it was. And he always came before any of us children. And then after the divorce, she went on her own tangent of trying to reclaim her glory days, which at 35, 36 years old, you don't have glory days anymore, but she found them and done lived them. But it kicked me to the curb. So I knew I was never going to do that to my siblings. Definitely was never going to do it to my children or my grandchildren. And I've stayed steadfast to that. I have been unwavering to almost the point where with our brother that was an addict, I actually became an enabler of his addiction because I thought I could love him out of it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to give up on him, and I would show up everywhere he was and make sure that he was eating and his clothes were washed and he had a place to sleep. And I mean, it finally got to the point of where this is not helping him, this is hurting him. We've been doing this now for, at that juncture, was about like 16 years in. I mean, and I had tried everything. But in my mind, it was, if I don't give up, if I keep showing him the love, because that's what I do. I mean, I'm the oldest. I have 8 younger siblings, and Eric and I have a daughter, and now we have 2 grandchildren, to where my only sole goal is to be the best sibling, the best auntie. I mean, her daughter knows she can call me. I created a little affirmation thing for her. She has spent the night here. We've done makeup. We've done cooking. She's a little fashionista. Like last night I was at my nephew's football game watching my sister shake out of her skin. I've taken our youngest sister's son to the movies to go see the dinosaurs. And I take care of our dad full time. So this is me being consistent, applying myself to the people that I love, and I mean, I want to be the best sibling, the best auntie, the best mom, and I am in competition with our grandmother to be the best grandma. And I don't know if I'm going to pull it off because she's such a good grandma.
She is such a good grandma.
But, I'm going to try, but that it means a lot to me that my siblings know no matter what, she's going to pick up. No matter what, she's going to show up. No matter what, she's going to listen, even after our dad was shot. And it was a hard thing for me because a lot of the people that I thought were going to be there for me weren't. But Shonda stayed steadfast. Shonda has been steadfast the whole time. Actually, this interview that is being done today because Eric and I are going to boot, scoot, and boogie out of here for a couple hours today and go and try to have like a day date. And besides Shonda, our brother Angus is the only other one that helps with our dad. And it's not something I'm angry about anymore. Because I've learned how to understand my other siblings don't have that kind of relationship or comfortability with our dad. But certain siblings like Shonda and Angus did previous to my dad being shot. And that's why they show up. But for a long time, I was like, but what did I do? Why is nobody showing up for me? I've been good the whole time. But, you learn how to adjust. And you learn how to work with what you have. And the quicker that you're able to be grateful for the moments that you do have and the people that you do have, the easier that adjusting to your situation becomes. So
And that's why I would always come to you, because the thing was, like, I had been in it for so long and in and out and in and out, and you get to a point where it's like, I knew what you were saying was making sense,
yeah,
but I would always find something in my head to be like, okay, but this,
yeah,
but that, like, there was always a reason. And it's like, it
Mhm.
got to a point where it's like, you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's
Definition of
not,
insanity.
that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna keep going, and the longer you stay, the more like that other person feels that they're like allowed to keep acting that way, because they know they have that hold on you and you're gonna stay. They find your triggers and their ways to get to you. And for me, it was the feeling of like needing to help somebody. So when he would say like, oh, you're just giving up on me, like he knew that would get me.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm not giving up on you. It's like, yeah, I am, because it is not my job to give up my life for yours. And that's basically what it felt like.
Well, it wasn't even so much giving up on him, it was fighting for you.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have come to that realization for myself.
Yeah.
You know, because women in particular, we feel like we're so selfish.
Yeah.
I mean, how dare I put myself first? How dare I get my hair done or get my nails done or go for a walk or sit in a quiet place and drink a Sprite?
Yeah.
Like, how dare I do that? You know, like, you cannot fill, I was not trying to find a cup, but you cannot fill from an empty cup.
Yeah.
You can put, and if you are filling from an empty cup, it's not genuine stuff. You may be offering help to people, but it's not genuine help. And it's you being upset, and it's you wishing you were not in that situation. Even though internally that's who you're designed and destined to be, you're running off of fumes. But when you're pouring into you, you're listening to positivity, you're talking to God, you're eating healthier, you're drinking your water, you're taking a healthier vitamin, you're taking care of yourself, whatever that looks like for you. Showers, baths, reading, positive affirmations, prayers, walks, girl time, whatever that looks like. You have that energy to be like, yeah, I can help you out. It's not even a problem. And you're doing it from a place of joy.
Yeah.
You know, because when people are helping me from a place of guilt, or a place of, well, she ain't gonna stop asking, which that ain't even me, because I ask you one time, you say, no, I'm done with you.
Yep.
Like, I'm just not that person. I will be like, you know what? I will build this whole thing by myself. Then this whole house, build it by myself.
Yep.
Don't need it. But if you're doing it from a place like that, I can pick that up. And then it's like, then my empathy goes off.
Yeah.
Where now I'm feeling bad that I just put that person in that situation. I mean, being an empath is like a blessing and a curse at the same time.
It is.
What advice would you give to someone listening right now who feels trapped in an abusive or toxic relationship?
The way I've always thought of it as, and my brain always just goes deep down to like the very base, like the very cell of where everything starts. And I always think like, how am I going to spend every day like this? And I'm literally floating on a freaking rock in space. Like, I'm given this one life. Like, the morning's gonna come, the night's gonna come, and the things that I'm asking for to teach myself, it's not appropriate or not okay. Like, the things I'm asking for are just like respect, mutual kindness, like actual love. And it's like you're able to differentiate and tell like what's love, what's lost, and what's like manipulation. And you got to get to a point where you love yourself. You have to love yourself and want better for yourself and know that you deserve to have that better in your life. It's like I never thought that I was ever going to get to like this point that I'm at right now. Like, I don't think I've told anybody this, but when Carter was like 2 and things got really bad with his dad, I debated killing myself. And I sat down and thought about how I was going to write this letter that I was going to leave for Carter to let him know that I wasn't going to be there anymore. And it's like, you're so much more than the relationship that you're in, and you're not in it to be a pawn or a tool for somebody else to make them feel good and them to use you whenever they want for whatever they want.
Yeah.
It's like you go out and live your own life. Do your things. Let go of the negative and toxic things that are in your life, and it's gonna freaking suck, and it's gonna be hard because your whole world is going to be shaken. No matter how long you've been in the relationship for, whether it's been a couple of months or a couple of years, it's going to be hard either way because you've given that time.
Right.
In yourself, you've given that time, you've given 100% all of that love, and then you start to question, why was I not enough?
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't they be better to me? I was always so good to them. It's like, it's not that you weren't enough, but you found a person who decided to use you and manipulate you and make you feel this certain type of way, make you feel weak, like you didn't deserve better, and like it was your job or responsibility to make them feel good, to make their life better, make them happy. And it's not, I think, even to this day, Kate's dad still is not doing great.
Mm-hmm.
He is still a piece of garbage. He is still not great to her by any means. She still needs to see crap when she's over at his house. So I couldn't imagine staying in that relationship and
Right.
being 10 years in now and going through the same thing. And it's crazy to think like how different even her mindset would be, how different Carter's mindset would be with him being like 16 now. And thinking about yourself, your family, and if you have kids, 100% thinking about your kids because they didn't ask for any of this.
Right.
And I mean, if you're in that kind of relationship, I mean, I'm sure like babies can feel things even when they're in the womb. They can feel your emotions and that stress. So it's like that stuff, even as they're growing older. One of the girls that I work with, she just became an RN a couple months ago, and one segment she was doing was on mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been proven that the like architecture of your brain, everything inside is altered from trauma when you're a kid. It can alter so many pathways in your brain that's can affect you for the rest of your life.
Right.
And it's like, you know, we didn't have a choice in the matter, but now we as adults and taking the time to research these things and put in the effort of self-love and loving other people and learning to let go even when it hurts to make us a better person. Mm-hmm. For ourselves, for our kids, for our grandkids, and break a cycle. It's just getting to that point.
Yeah. Well, even if the saying a relationship is 50-50 were true, which it's not.
Yeah.
A relationship is 100-100.
Yeah.
But a relationship is definitely not 0-100.
No.
And that's what a lot of these toxic relationships are.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much you being used for the benefit of the pleasure of the other person.
Yeah.
Whatever that pleasure is, a lot of it is just their ability to have control.
Yeah.
A lot of people, men and women, just enjoy having the control, just watching you be the dancing bear. There's this episode on Roseanne that I just watched where the guy who was married to Jackie was out with Dan, and they were having this conversation, and he goes, "Oh, don't tell me that I've been at your house. I see the holes in the ceiling from how high you jump when Roseanne tells you to." You know, it's like people pay attention to what your relationship looks like, and the older you get, the more perceptive you are.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe like early 20s, teenage to early 20 relationships, people are like, oh, that's just who they are. Mm-hmm. You start getting closer to 30, and then you start getting closer to my age, and I'm seeing red flags like I'm driving through a construction site.
Seriously?
And I'm like, Brenda,
yeah.
How are you not seeing that? But now my experience is, oh, they're seeing it.
Yeah.
They're seeing it, they're stuck.
Yeah.
Which is why the podcast has become how to get unstuck from trauma and stuck in healing, because you're going to be stuck somewhere. You're either going to be stuck in the situation that's sucking the life out of you, or you're going to be stuck in a situation of, like you said, it's going to be hard. It's going to hurt. There's going to be pain. There's going to be scariness at the beginning of your healing journey.
And it's so scary because it's mental warfare.
Yeah.
It's not even like you're physically chained anywhere. It is literal mental warfare. They have just drained your body and your soul and everything that you ever thought about yourself or felt about yourself, or the things that you felt or thought that you deserved. It's like you still deserve that, but they pushed you to a point to make you feel like you didn't deserve that. So a big thing would probably be thinking back to before you got with that person, because when you first get with someone, sometimes people can change, but generally in a toxic relationship, whether it's man or woman, they do become more timid. They're not as bubbly as they used to be.
Yeah.
They don't do the things that they used to do. So it's like you have to see, okay, so let's look at the equation. What got added in that made this go all crazy, and now your mental health is going downhill. You're not feeling great about yourself, your life, anything really. It's like, yeah, it's just the one, mental warfare is just the worst thing.
Well, and honestly, people can change. They can change.
Yep.
But here's the thing. Are they going to change for you, first of all?
Yeah.
And what are you doing to create the change? Because one of the biggest things that I talked to Shonda about, and she's heard me hear it 5.4 million times, is you teach people how to treat you by what you allow. What you allow. If you are allowing people to take advantage of you, this is not just in a romantic relationship. Friends can do it. Co-workers can do it. Employers can do it. Neighbors can do it. Strangers can do it.
Yeah.
If you're allowing yourself to be taken advantage of, you have to take an element of responsibility for why you're in that situation, because you're allowing it to happen. And I know that hurts. I know you felt like you just got hit in the gut, because that's a lot of what the school of the hard knocks is. This isn't let's rub each other's back, and no, this is let's make real change.
Yeah.
And anything you're doing in your life, you have to take some accountability for. Regardless if you've been, like my mom, I'm sure to a certain degree was brainwashed. She was with our dad for about 18 years married, 2 years before that. The way that my dad treated her for a very long time, I understand that. But my grandparents were supportive. My grandparents would come and pack us into their car like a clown car to help us to leave, and my mom would go back. It was a yo-yo relationship, so to a certain degree, she could not find that strength. She could not push herself to find that strength in her mind to say, this is bigger than me, but I got to at least get my kids out.
Yeah.
And if you have kids, that should be like one of your main thoughts. Your safety, 100% is so important. But like Shonda said, no child asked it to be here. And when children are brought into this world and they're being forced against their will to witness things that are so terrifying and traumatic, I mean, I remember things all the way back to 4 years old.
Yeah.
And I've had people say, well, my kids are still young, they're not going to remember it. How do you know that exactly? Because from the age of 4 until 7, the visions to me are so vivid. We do remember. And like Shonda said, her whole goal was to raise children that they didn't have to be adults healing from their childhood.
Yeah.
I'm just finally getting to the point of being able to heal from my childhood, because I'm letting it out. I'm Borat. I'm just letting it out.
And that's the big part of healing too, and leaving, is getting to the point where open up. It's not your dirty secret to keep for somebody else. That's what they're like, oh, I don't want them to think that they're a bad person. Let them think that, because you have nothing to do with the decisions that they've chosen to make. Aside from with staying, it's almost like being an enabler, because you're still staying there and being that person that they're using to be manipulative or whatever it is that they're doing.
Right.
But it's like, it's not your job to hide anybody else's secrets, especially when it's like they've done wrong to you.
I was just going to say, because it's not like they were trying to protect you.
Exactly.
So you're trying to protect the person who's done nothing but not protect you.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, that's the way that you're going to heal, is talking about it.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, hey, I am so stinking proud of you.
Made it through it. Oh.
And I love you so much. And I think you are definitely one of the strongest women that I have ever met in my entire life.
Well, because like you said before, you're like, I could have sworn I birthed you.
I feel like
I got it all from you.
I feel like I did. And that's something that, someday when it is like the end of my life, I am really proud of this kind of thing. Because I feel like I did the best that I possibly could.
Oh yeah, of course.
With the very little information that I had to try to protect you guys and give you knowledge. And it is and I accept it graciously, which before I'd be like, oh, it's not, no, it's fine. No,
Yeah.
I have put in the work.
Yeah.
And the older that you guys have gotten, the more that I can see that I have rubbed off on some of you a lot.
Yeah. Sometimes when I talk to Justin and I make kind of, okay, Darcie.
And I say, I take that as a compliment, because yes. But I think you're incredible, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of every walk of life that you've gone through. I think we'll probably make this into like a little series thing, because if you think that is an iceberg, a tip of an iceberg of some of the things that Shonda's gone through in her life, and not just gone through, but has successfully come out as a mother to 3 in a healthier relationship than she's been in before. Very productive with her job, and just an all-around good quality person. So you definitely do not have to allow your past to define you. You do not have to be a victim of your past, a victim of your circumstance. You have the ability to become a survivor at any moment. So thanks so much for joining us on the School of Hard Knocks.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. You know that you can always reach me at Darcie at the School of Schools of Hardknocks.com. Don't forget the S, because I know I do sometimes. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.